You're 33 films, you're 30. I think this is the peak of your career now.
From a boy who struggled with dyslexia and grew up in a broken household, to a man who redefined what it means to be a movie star, Tom Cruise's journey is one of Hollywood's most dramatic stories. He wasn't just another actor chasing fame. He became the face of an entire generation of blockbusters, a daredevil who risked his own life for stunts, and a figure constantly surrounded by both admiration and controversy. But behind the billion-dollar box office hits and the dazzling red carpets lies a darker tale: scandals, broken marriages, and the shadow of Scientology that nearly consumed his career. So the question remains, how did Tom Cruise, against all odds, transform from a troubled young dreamer into the last true movie star of Hollywood? Tom Cruise was born on July 3, 1962 in Syracuse, New York, into a family that knew more about hardship than stability. His mother, Mary Lee, worked tirelessly as a special education teacher, while his father, Thomas Cruise Mapother III, was often unemployed and abusive. Tom once described his father as a bully and a coward, a man who brought both fear and instability into his childhood. The family moved constantly, drifting from town to town across the United States, and even spending time in Canada. By the time Tom was 14, he had attended more than a dozen schools, never staying long enough to feel grounded. This nomadic lifestyle left him struggling to form friendships, but it also taught him resilience and adaptability, traits that would later define his career. Adding to his struggles was dyslexia, a learning disorder that made reading and schoolwork a daily battle. Teachers labeled him lazy, classmates mocked him, and he often felt invisible. Yet his mother became his rock, encouraging him to pursue creativity and reminding him that he was destined for something more. In the midst of chaos and instability, young Tom discovered a refuge: performing. Whether it was in church plays or makeshift school productions, he found a spark of confidence in front of an audience, a spark that would ignite into one of the most powerful careers Hollywood had ever seen. Tom Cruise's path to Hollywood began with a mixture of chance, determination, and raw ambition. At 17, after briefly considering a future in priesthood, he dropped that idea and set his sights on acting. With only a few dollars in his pocket, he moved to New York City in the early 1980s, chasing the impossible dream of becoming a star. His early auditions were marked by rejection, but his striking looks and relentless energy soon caught the eye of casting directors. In 1981, he landed a small part in Endless Love, followed by a supporting role in Taps. Though minor, these roles showcased his intensity and hinted at a deeper screen presence. Hollywood had noticed. Cruise's first real breakthrough came in 1983 with Risky Business. In one unforgettable scene, sliding across the floor in a white shirt, socks, and sunglasses, he created a cultural moment that defined the decade. That single performance turned him from an unknown newcomer into one of the hottest young actors in town. Just 3 years later, Top Gun, 1986, cemented his status as a leading man. As Maverick, the cocky fighter pilot with charm and swagger, Cruise became a symbol of American cool. The film not only dominated the global box office but also made him a household name. From that moment, Tom Cruise was no longer just chasing fame. He had seized it, and Hollywood would never look at him the same way again. By the mid-1980s, Tom Cruise was no longer just a rising star. He was the face of a new Hollywood era. Top Gun didn't just make money. It became a cultural phenomenon, influencing fashion, music, and even military recruitment. Suddenly, Cruise was more than an actor. He was an icon of American pop culture. But Cruise wasn't content with being a one-note action hero. He quickly proved his versatility by taking on more challenging roles. In The Color of Money, 1986, he held his own against Paul Newman, and in Rain Man, 1988, he played the selfish brother opposite Dustin Hoffman's Oscar-winning performance. While Hoffman won the Academy Award, many critics noted that Cruise's performance was the film's emotional anchor. Then came Born on the 4th of July, 1989, where Cruise transformed into Vietnam War veteran Ron Kovic. The role demanded vulnerability, rage, and emotional depth far beyond anything he had done before. It earned him his first Academy Award nomination for Best Actor and established him as more than just a pretty face. He was a serious actor capable of carrying weighty dramas. The 1990s solidified Cruise's dominance. Films like A Few Good Men, 1992, The Firm, 1993, and Jerry Maguire, 1996, showcased his ability to balance box office success with critical acclaim. "Show me the money" became a catchphrase that defined the decade. At the same time, Cruise made a bold move, producing and starring in Mission Impossible, 1996. What began as a risky gamble quickly grew into one of the most successful franchises in cinematic history. Audiences weren't just coming to see the story. They came to see Tom Cruise himself, performing death-defying stunts that blurred the line between actor and daredevil. By the early 2000s, Cruise had achieved what few actors ever could: a string of blockbuster hits across multiple genres, critical respect, and a reputation as Hollywood's most bankable star. He wasn't just part of the system, he was driving it. For all his box office dominance, Tom Cruise's personal life often overshadowed his professional triumphs. By the early 2000s, the carefully crafted image of the golden boy of Hollywood began to crack, revealing a series of controversies that would haunt his reputation for years. One of the most persistent shadows was his deep involvement with the Church of Scientology. Cruise became the religion's most visible ambassador, defending it passionately in public interviews. While loyal followers admired his conviction, critics accused the church of secrecy, manipulation, and control. His unwavering devotion made him a lightning rod for controversy, and many wondered if it was damaging his career. His love life, meanwhile, was constantly under the microscope. His marriages to Mimi Rogers, Nicole Kidman, and Katie Holmes all ended in high-profile divorces. The split from Kidman shocked fans, while his whirlwind romance with Holmes created a media frenzy. In 2005, Cruise's infamous appearance on The Oprah Winfrey Show, where he jumped on the couch professing his love for Holmes, became a cultural punchline. What was meant to be a declaration of passion turned into a viral spectacle that critics said tarnished his credibility. The scandals didn't stop there. In the same year, he publicly clashed with talk show host Matt Lauer on The Today Show, aggressively dismissing psychiatry and antidepressants. His comments were widely condemned by medical professionals and the general public alike. For the first time, Cruise seemed less like the charming movie star and more like a zealot out of touch with reality. By the late 2000s, Cruise's star power appeared to be fading. Some studios hesitated to work with him, and tabloids eagerly predicted the fall of Hollywood's most bankable actor. The man who had once symbolized untouchable superstardom was suddenly on the verge of losing it all. But if there was one thing Tom Cruise had always known, it was how to fight back. Just when it seemed that Tom Cruise's career was spiraling beyond repair, he staged one of the most remarkable comebacks in Hollywood history. The key to his reinvention lay in embracing the very thing that had always set him apart: his willingness to risk everything for the audience. Rather than retreat from the spotlight, Cruise doubled down on his commitment to filmmaking. With the Mission Impossible franchise, he transformed the series into a global spectacle defined by his jaw-dropping stunts. Whether it was hanging off the side of a plane during takeoff, scaling the Burj Khalifa, or performing a real halo jump, audiences weren't just watching a movie. They were witnessing Cruise push the boundaries of what an actor could physically do. Outside of Mission Impossible, he continued to prove his versatility. In Edge of Tomorrow, 2014, he blended sci-fi action with sharp humor, earning widespread praise for reinventing himself as both action hero and self-aware performer. Then came Top Gun: Maverick, 2022, a decades-later sequel that defied expectations and became one of the highest-grossing films of his career. It wasn't just nostalgia. It was proof that Tom Cruise still had the power to move audiences worldwide. By focusing on his work ethic, discipline, and relentless pursuit of spectacle. Cruise managed to shift the narrative. The scandals no longer defined him. His daring artistry did. He wasn't just an actor trying to survive. He became a legend who reminded the world what movie stardom could truly mean. Tom Cruise's legacy is more than just a filmography. It's the embodiment of an era when movie stars carried films on their shoulders. For over 4 decades, he has remained one of the rare actors whose name alone could guarantee a global audience. He is a symbol of persistence, discipline, and an almost obsessive devotion to his craft. While scandals and controversies once threatened to eclipse his career, time has reframed his image. Today, he is admired as the ultimate professional, the actor who does his own stunts, the producer who bets on spectacle, and the star who never stops chasing perfection. Younger generations may not remember the controversies, but they know the legend, the man who risked his life on screen simply to entertain. In the end, Tom Cruise stands as Hollywood's last true movie star, a figure larger than the films themselves. His journey proves that resilience and reinvention can outlast scandal, and that passion, when unshaken, can create immortality. The story of Tom Cruise is not just about fame. It's about survival, transformation, and the relentless pursuit of cinematic greatness. Share and subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories.